Hey, my jujubees, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing today? Today is Monday, and it's not the Monday as Monday ever, but it's Monday. If you are new here, please don't forget to like, share, and comment, and subscribe. It would do me so glad. Today I have seafood, so I have crab legs, one potato, one corn, and some shrimp. I'm going to pour a little bit of this 2-time spicy sauce on here because I like spice. And today it don't look as red as it does any other day. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I think I already said that. Leave a comment so I know you guys are watching. We're going to continue talking about ethic. Okay. So where I left off last time is, I think where I left off last time, I just watched it. How I forget that fast. Oh, Messiah revealed who he was and what he had done. But ethic let him go. So, if you all don't remember, one of the stipulations for Alani, not really for Alani, but for ethic, was for him to try to turn over a new leaf and not be the murderous man that he could be for her. So he was battling with not only that when it came to letting Messiah go, but also with the love that he has for Messiah. So Alani was waiting up for him. Because in her mind, she feels like if he does this, then I have to leave him. Because this isn't the man that I want to be with. So she's waiting. She done drank a half a bottle of wine. And she got the music playing in the background, 7:02. I don't really want to go. I don't really want to stay. So we need to get it together. That's the song that she got playing in the background. And so when he walks in, she sees the look on his face. And she's like, did you kill him? Because if you did, ethic, he's like, I know you gonna leave. And then she was like, no, I'm gonna love a man who's a murderer. And that's gonna do something else to me. It's gonna turn me into somebody that I don't want to be. So is he dead or not? And ethic's like, he's alive. So she kind of like sighs, a sigh of relief. But at the same time, she could see the anguish and the heartbreak in her man's face. And she's sad for him, because ethic loved Messiah, okay? And for this kind of betrayal, to smack him right in the face like that, it's a little deeper than if it was just a random person. And the fact that he never saw it coming. It's not like Messiah ever showed anything other than love, respect, and loyalty for ethics. So even as the reader, when I first read this, I was completely floored. Like, what? Like, not only did Messiah respect him, but he made sure that everybody that he dealt with respected him. And he made sure that everybody who dealt with him, whether they was working for ethic or not, he made sure that everybody was respecting him. So it was kind of like, it was a shock. And I mean, a shock, okay? I was somewhere floored like Morgan, like, what is going on? But anyway, so, excuse me, they in the kitchen, and she in there with her black dress on. Same black dress his mom used to wear. Not the same black dress, but a black dress. Like his mama used to wear for their daddy years ago. He didn't miss it. And so she wore it. And so he went over to her, kissed her, told her, I need to feel something other than what I feel right now. So I need you to help me. Okay? So they do what grown-ups do. Right there on the kitchen counter. And he takes out some of his frustration with her. So they go upstairs. He asks her, like, how's Morgan doing? And Alani's like, devastated. You know, completely heartbroken. And he's like, okay, well, let me go check on her. And she like, okay. He's like, go ahead and get some sleep. And she was like, okay. But she was like, I won't be sleeping until my man is settled. And because he's unsettled, I will be too. So he go in there to check on Morgan. And she's like in the dark, crying. And she's completely heartbroken, okay? And rightfully so. So he goes in there and he don't say anything. He just goes to the bed and he holds her and she cries harder. And she's basically like, I didn't see this coming. He asked her, like, is he dead? And she asked him, is he dead? And he said no. But he won't be around. You won't have to worry about seeing him no more or anything like that. And so she cried harder. And she basically was just like, she didn't know what to do. She couldn't believe he was who he said he was. And let alone who he said he was. But it's the same circle of events to her that happened to her brother. Her sister. Her sister was with his brother. And his brother, the only difference was Mazan wasn't abuse. Mazan was abusive and Messiah was not. And she kind of replayed it in her mind how Mazan was really nice to her, but he used to beat her sister. And Morgan was deaf, but she could remember, like, you know, the vibration of him throwing her against the wall or around the house. And he used to lock her in the basement. He was crazy. But she's thinking of all of that. But at the same time, you know, how does she not know? But at the same time, it's like, I love him still, you know. But it was crazy. So I think the next part might be so Arya, her and Arya are at the studio, you know, trying to rehearse. Nope. Yeah, they at the studio rehearsing, and nope. That's wrong. Sorry, y'all. I listened to the book all over again today like I've never read it. And so the part I was about to talk about was right at the end. So sorry. Wrong part. Arya comes over to her house. Because she wanted to stay at Ethics, but she didn't want to stay. Ethic wanted her to stay with him, you know, to kind of let her relax. But she didn't want to. She wanted to go back to her house because that was the last place that Messiah had been with her. And she said she know her house smelled like him. She was torturing herself. But so she had been laying there for 7 whole days. It had been since she had talked to Messiah. She would call him. Of course, he don't answer. So nobody was getting in contact with her. She put her phone on Do Not Disturb. And one time she did that, Ethic came up the highway. Like, because he thought something was wrong. And so she made sure that she kept it on. Well, when she was laying in her bed, somebody was knocking on her door. And so she got up, and it was Arya. And Arya was like, Morgan, what the hell? Like, I've been looking for you. I've been calling you. You ain't been answering. Like, what's going on? And so she instantly started crying, like, we're done. And she like, who? She like, me and my side shot, we're done. She was like, it's officially over. And she was like, Morgan, like, I don't think it's really done. You know, he loves you. And maybe it's just like, you know, give it time to cool off. And it'll be okay. She was like, no, it really is done. She was like, all of the stuff he said to me, a lot of the lies, it's really over with. She was like, but he won't even answer the phone to try to explain himself to me. She was like, that's the part that I don't like. And so she was like, okay, hold on. So she calls Issa and asks him, like, where you at? And she like, I may not be able to know where he is, but I know how to find. I mean, I may not know where Messiah is, but if I find out where Issa is, I can find out where Messiah is. So she calls Issa and she's like, bingo, they're at Blue's house. Let's go. So she get up, put on some sweatpants, tie her hair up, and they go over to Blue house. So when she pull up, they see all three of they matching BMWs because they all got white matching BMWs. Amik, Issa, and Messiah. So when she pull up, she instantly like gets angry. And is thinking like, he got me messed up. So she pick up a brick, throw a brick through all three of their windows. Now, I don't agree with her messing up everybody's car, but I understand the anger because she felt like if this was a plot that he had, all y'all was in on it. So guess what? All y'all got to catch this L. So the alarm goes off because, of course, she threw a brick through the window. And so they all come out on the porch like, yo, you know, I'm like, come on, Morgan, like, what are you out here doing? And Blue's like, oh my gosh, Morgan. And Morgan told her like, hey, Blue, don't make this about you and it won't be about you. Like, and that's on period. I was with Morgan on that. Like, Blue, be quiet because this ain't got nothing to do with you. Your car ain't even get messed up. It's their car, so just hush. But I guess she probably didn't want her causing all that commotion outside in front of her house. But whatever. Like, girl, you a woman and you done been scorned before. Be quiet and let me handle my business. So, anyway, they all come outside. Next thing you know, she take a key out her pocket and runs it around Messiah's car. He just still standing there. So she like, you just gonna stand there? Like you ain't just ruined my entire life? Like you wasn't just telling me, you know, last week or whenever that you wanted to be with me and we was gonna do whatever. Like you just gonna stand there? Yeah, she said something about one of their escapades, you know, about what they do in the bedroom. Like, you just gonna stand there? Like, last week you ain't just had your face in my, telling me that you love me. And so when she said that, he came off the porch. Because he don't like that. Like, don't discuss me and what I do, especially not with my people. So he come down the steps, walk up on her, like, he walk up on her. And she trying to back away because, of course, I don't really think she was scared. But I think she knew what he was capable of. That makes sense. So He backed her all the way up until her she couldn't go back no further. And told her, like, go home, Mo. And she like, go home? Mm-mm. You owe me an explanation, basically. You done told me that you love me and we was going to be together. And it's just that easy for you to just hit the brakes on us and tell me that I don't mean nothing to you. Like, that's how easy it is for you. He's like, well, that should show you that I really don't care because it's that easy for you. Now listen. I'm going to tell y'all. This is my least favorite scene of the entire of the book. Well, I ain't gonna say that because it's another scene that's probably worse than this. But Messiah, to me, was saying anything he could to get her to just go home. And that doesn't make it okay what he said, because he basically told her, like, I don't care nothing about you. We on two different sides. You on your side, I'm on my side. And this is just what it is. But she was literally begging him. She told him, like, you remember when you told me to let you know if you was loving me wrong? She's like, when you love me wrong, baby, please don't do me like. I mean, she was broken half, okay? I think I probably shed a tear with Morgan at that moment because she was so hurt. She was so vulnerable. All she wanted was somebody to love her, okay? And to be honest with you, I don't think she even cared about what he did. If he would have right then there at that moment told her, like, okay, baby, I'm sorry, we can work it out. Morgan would have worked it out with Messiah. She wouldn't be against it at all because she didn't care. She just wanted him. Like, that's my man. We've been through. He the only person who sees me. And I have to have him. That was Morgan's mentality. Even though he has done what he has done, she didn't care. She did not care at all. So, but after she was begging and pleading and telling him that he was loving her wrong, she was like, you love me wrong. He was like, they should tell you that right there that I don't care. So then Amika was like, enough. Like, all right, like, enough. And so she was like, you know what? Forget it. Like, forget it. Now, mind you, Morgan is pregnant. But she didn't want to use that as a reason for him to stay. She didn't want to say to him, like, I'm pregnant. He'd be like, oh, okay, you know what? We can work it out. Like, she wanted him to pick her because he loved her and he knew that what he was doing wrong, he needed to make that right. But she never did. She didn't say anything. So they just went to Arya was like, come on, let's just go. So Arya took her to the car. Issa was like, because when they got there, he had asked her, this what you want? She's like, maybe I'll let you sniff it for your troubles. He's like, oh, I'm going to do more than sniff it. He said, I'm going to sniff it. I'm going to put my tongue in it. And I'm doing all that. So, before they pull off, Issa says to Arya, like, yeah, don't forget what you said or whatever. But then he tells Morgan, like, Morgan, this was never about you. It was only about, he didn't even say ethic, but he just said, it was never about you. You was never a part of the play. You or the kids. It was just not y'all. He's like, if that make it better. And she said, it don't. So they pulled off. And Morgan cried, of course, all the way home. It was just real sad. So now Alani and Ethic are trying to date each other, okay? And so, but they trying to date each other, but they also going to, like, you know, counseling with Nair from the church. And So they go to a session that they had because they have them weekly or whatever. And when they got in there, my ear was like, "What's going on?" Like, it's kind of heavy, you know. Tensions are kind of heavy, and so Ethic was like, she just was like, he's been real mean, mild tempered, like, you know, real snappy with her and with the kids. Like taking a tone with them that he's never really taken with him. But that's because he's trying to deal with everything that's going on with Messiah and Morgan, and it's just so much. Alani. So he was like, "Well, what happened?" And Nair asked what happened. And so Ether was like, a friend turned foe or whatever. And so Nair was like, and he must be somebody who you cared about, or otherwise you wouldn't be able to, you know, or you wouldn't be as mad as you are. And he was like, it hurts so bad because you care for him, but what you have to realize is that people that you care about, they are capable of hurting you. You might not think that, you might not want them to, or you will hope that they're not, or that they wouldn't, but it's inevitable that people are people. We human. We have human-like characteristics. We make mistakes, and you have to chalk it up to the fact that people make mistakes and they are not going to be perfect. And he was like, but some stuff is just unforgivable. And so Alani was like, is it just with you, or is that universal? Because basically, like, you want me to forgive you for taking my daughter away from me the way that you took her away from me, but you can't forgive a person who turned out to be a foe. She was like, that's a double standard. He was like, I didn't mean that in that way, but it is what it is. Like, you know, and she was like, well, why don't you, I don't know if she was like, he's so on edge. He don't talk to me about anything. And I think she might have brought up Raven or something in there. And then, so he told them that they needed to get to know each other, and to take sex out of the equation. So they both agreed, and then they left. I can't remember if she brought up Raven at the, I don't think she did, but I think she brought up the double standard of it all, though. Like, you want people to forgive you, but you're unwilling to forgive. And that's when Nair told him, like, forgiveness ain't for you, it's for the other person. Like, I mean, it's not for the other person, it's for you. You forgiving somebody is to help you be able to move forward in life so that you're not carrying that burden of what they did to you around. So you can truly move on and go about your life. So when they got into the car, she was like, why don't you ever open up to me? Why don't you ever talk to me about Raven, you know, and about what happened to her? He was like, this is just, he apologized to her for being a jerk last week or whatever. But he was like, it's a touchy subject and I'm not ready to talk about it right now. He was like, and I need you to respect that. So she said, okay. So they get in the car. And of course, he get ready to go back to his house. And she like, take me home, please. So he look at her. But he don't fight. You know, I'm like, okay, fine. And so he like, I want to take you somewhere. So I'll be back here tomorrow to pick you up. Pack you a bag. And she like, do you really think it's a good time for us to be going out of town? You know, wherever the kids gonna be. He was like, the kids will be with Lily. She was like, I know, but what about Morgan? Like, do you think this is a real good time to leave her alone? Because he was like, I could have her come home for the weekend. And he was like, do you want to go or not? He was like, because this sounds like a bunch of excuses. She was like, I'm just saying. She was like, okay, well, if you want to go, then how about you bring the kids over here to Nanny? She would love the company. And you ask Morgan, do she feel okay coming down for the weekend. And then I feel more comfortable with going. So he said, okay. He was like, well, how your bags packed or whatever, and I'll see you tomorrow. And she like, mm-hmm. He like, hey, if you keep on acting like you want me to give you this thing, I'm going to give it to you. So she laughed or whatever. He kissed her. She went up the stairs. He was like, hey, Miss Hill, make sure you lose the attitude by tomorrow, but Friday I'm going to come and pick you up. So the next day, I'm trying to see my time because I don't know if I want to go this far. So the next day, he come over there to bring the kids over there to her. And she getting ready. She done got dressed. She done got her hair done. Went on ahead and got her a sew-in. Got her some red bottoms, looking like steak. He went and bought her some flowers, and Nanny some flowers. And he sat in the car for a minute and thought, like, dang, I've never really had to date anybody. Like, I always had all the women at hello. Like, as soon as they met me, it just went from, hellos to orgasms. Like, it wasn't no in between. He was like, and nobody really required anything other than that from me until Alani. She requires me to date her. So he done bought her some flowers and, trying to woo her. He was like, and here I am in the car. I'm nervous. Like, I've never had to do this before. So Easy in the back, like, are we gonna get out? And he was like, yeah, big man, we gonna get out. So he went in there, he knocked on the door. He gave the granny some flowers too, some African lilies, I think it was. And, hey, beautiful her, and told the kids to be good. And she came down the steps and he like, oh my God, you are just such a sight. And she like, it's just Jean's ethic, And he's like, but don't nobody do it like you do. So he hugged her and he put his hands in her hair. She's like, boy, don't mess my hair up. I spent hours trying to get this done. He like, okay. But he did notice that wasn't really like her. Like getting sew-ins and red bottom shoes. Like that really wasn't her thing. But he didn't say anything about it. He just told her how beautiful she was and told the kids bye. And they had a good weekend. She was like, let me go put these flowers in let me go put these flowers in some water and say bye to the kids. And he always likes when she says the kids, not your kids or Bella and Easy, but your kids, the kids. And so they leave and everybody's like, bye. And then I love you, Daddy, love you, Lonnie. He was like, oh no, like, please don't say that because that's pressure. And she was like, I love you more. And he was just like, man, like she just a fixture in my life. I love her so much and I'm gonna marry her. He was like, this is what made dating seem trivial. Like she loved my kids. I love her. I just want to take her home to my house and just let it be a home. So they go on to get in the car. She asked tonight where we going. He like somewhere beautiful to match my beautiful company. Listen, if it's a man somewhere that in the world that exists like Ethic, please somebody point me to him because I just he just like I don't even know what else to say. So he takes her up north. Man, they live in Michigan, but he take her up north, further up north Michigan. And when they get there, she had fell asleep. And so when they get there, she's like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, And then he was like, she's like, this is a farm, and she's like, yeah, it's like this is beautiful. And so she gets to the door and she can't get in. She like, is somebody expecting us? And then he gives her a key. She's like, oh, you got a key? He was like, yeah, I should. I own it. She was like, a farm? She was like, Ethic, you own a farm? And he like, yeah. And she talked about how culture he is and how she likes the fact that he ain't, the typical man. And he told her like, I own this because I want to make sure that I have somewhere that if my family needs to retreat to, that they can have, I believe in owning land. And so he took her to this beautiful farmhouse. So she said, do you have animals here? And he like, yeah, I do. She was like, you take care of the animals? And he like, no, I pay this really nice old lady and she keeps up with everything that's going on. But yeah, it is animals here. So he has some horses there. And he said he has a horse for every person that he loves. So there's one for all three of his children, all three of his living children. There's one for Love. There's one for Raven, and I think there's one for Alani. So I think there were 6. And so I'm going to stop here because it's a lot more to this and I don't want to keep going. I don't want to go too far in. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will be here tomorrow. Same place, maybe not the same time. Don't forget if you're new here to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, bye, my jujubees.